Welcome to the most forward-thinking, inspirational podcast on the planet. Prepare to reevaluate everything you've been taught.
They have the power. We have the numbers now. It's all just a constant illusion of control. They break us like horses.
And they can tell us we're crazy, and we can say, well, you haven't seen anything yet.
Everything you knew was a goddamn lie. Would you up and explode like it's the 4th of July? Possessed by perfection in this land, if you're awake, you're the enemy. Every day a new deception. Pick your scene and take direction. And on a search to connect. But I don't wear a mask and I have no regret. Down on your knees, you don't look so tall. Open your eyes and the empire falls.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Mental Mastery Alliance podcast. Today, we are recording from remote location. We are up north in Northern Ontario, having the time of our lives, chopping wood and getting everything ready for the winter. It is one of the most glorious times to be in nature in fall and in vaccine passport season. To be able to get out. I said last time, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be done with this for a minute. I'm going to be done. I don't want to deal with the Vax Pass. I don't want this show to be taken up with that, but I'm going to talk about it briefly because it's everywhere and a lot of people have asked me a few questions. The vaccine passport, I honestly have to believe that the world will stand together and speak against the segregation. Do you guys remember the last time like major segregation took place? I posted about this on Facebook. It was like, I don't know the exact date that it ended, segregation, but then humanity decided, or the narrative has been running our lives for a long time and people aren't paying attention to it because in what world would we ever today say to ourselves, you know, oh, because of the color of your skin, I can't partake in this sort of thing. And there was a lot of hate. There was a lot of actual pure racism, right? But none of us are born racist. Every single one of us is born with the ability to think for themselves. So the only way you become racist is if you watch or are influenced by a racial narrative. The only way you become aggressive is if you watch or are influenced by a racial aggression or aggressive narrative. Racial aggression is a derivative, right? So you see these things and we think as a society that we're watching the news, and obviously you can't trust the news now, and it's very evident now that it's bullshit. But when we really think back to it, when did that change? When did that narrative change? When was the news okay and then not okay? Or is it possible that the invention of television was designed specifically to get right inside your head? Ladies and gentlemen, some of the fun of recording live is you end up with some rustic things in the background making noise. So I apologize if you hear a loud buzzing for a minute. I'm pretty sure this microphone will take care of it. If you do hear the train that passes by every now and again, I'm going to have that train as a special guest on the show. So we'll just enjoy it. It'll be a nice time, all of us. Back to the news, ladies and gentlemen. In the news, what does it really mean? Right? At what point did the news go from being your friend, your helpful friend, to sharing you the stories of the day, to controlling your life? And if we think about now, when you watch the news now, it's farce. It is an absolute joke. And that's obvious. But if you start trailing it back and you start really looking back into it, you realize that it's telling you, we hate this and we hate that and we're at war with this and you get your information from us and this is what we're doing. And now we support this. And now here's a bunch of ideas of things that you like and support. And we think because there's commercials on the TV and on television shows that's the advertising, that the whole purpose of it was to sell us products. And that might make sense. But what you don't realize is that they're shilling you influence. They're telling you the things that you like. They're telling you through the television shows. It's called tell-a-vision programming for a reason. They're telling you a vision. They're programming you with the vision that they're telling you. And if we think that that's reality, and we do think that that's reality, because as awake as people can become, our fundamental influence is information that we thought of. And if you're my age and older, there was no internet. We didn't get internet until our 20s. And even the internet at one point was like the Wild West. You could see anything, man. There was some shit on rotten.com. Like what in the absolute, oh God, ridiculous. And then they start, crawling things back. And then you hear things like, if it's on the internet, it's there forever. And that's such bullshit. The internet isn't as big as we think it is. Anybody can do anything on the internet. And that's even scarier. Because when you think about the internet, the way it's delivered, and all the censorship, like look at Facebook, for example. Facebook is absolutely gnarly. I'm currently in Facebook jail. And it happened the fastest it's ever happened to me. I posted that Norway has reclassified COVID as the flu. And holy the message wasn't even off. I got this warning on the Facebook, the bleep bleep, and it's like that message is not so like within a minute I was banned. I'm now on a 3-day ban, and it's never happened so fast in my life. Like nope, incorrect. Funny thing is, that post is still up. So I used the picture and I put it on as a post on my profile. And then I also used it in conversation somewhere. And it got ripped apart. And then I got the ban. And now what makes me laugh is I screenshotted it before they actually dumped me. So here goes the lineage. I post. Immediately it says, no, you can't post. Only you can see this post. To which I screenshot and then share the screenshot because that's just the kind of guy I am. And then it went up with my small story and I got banned. And now people are attacking it and attacking me, and I can't defend myself because I'm not there anymore. I'm behind bars. So the story is Norway reclassified COVID as the flu. And that's against medical information. So the people that are attacking me are saying, that's not true. There's this, that, and the other thing, and there's all this stuff. And they're like coming at me like fucking gangbusters. And I'm looking at this going, this is fucking conversation. This is literally how it used to be. If I posted something that raised your attention or got your attention, you would say, I wonder if that's true. And then you would go and do a little bit of research and go, nope, that's bullshit. Right? But the amount of people that want to fucking fight, it is unreal. These people are like born to fight. I got to defend this narrative, which is Stockholm Syndrome. There are so many people out there right now that have had such weird lives, and I'm sorry that they feel the ways that they feel, but they're locked into an ideology about how important it is to be COVID sensitive and all this sort of stuff. Like it's like their motto, their mission right now is to attack anyone that's free thinking. And you'll see it. They'll throw around slang, anti-vaxxer and all this sort of shit. Does that take away free thinker? Like, you're seeing all these things about science too. Like, don't question the science. Are you fucking mad? That's what science is. Scientists don't even trust scientists. If a scientist relieves something or sends something out there, other scientists will do their best to debunk it. The science is settled. This is such propaganda speak. I know I'm preaching to the choir. You guys are the greatest, right? But there's a lot of people that don't get it. And there's a lot of people that don't have the ability to speak out. So what I can say is this. I'll take the beating. I'll take the punches, whatever. I'll share this stuff. And what I really like about this last post that I put up there, I'm going to read an article. There's articles all over the .gov sites that you can read about this stuff. And that's what it used to be. We used to be able to do our own research, but Facebook shuts you down. And Facebook's just one instance. If they can shut me down within a minute of me posting this stuff, yet there's still child porn all over the internet, and those Hollywood elites that I'm not allowed to talk about because they got my last podcast completely blown up and destroyed. Not my last episode, my entire other show that I was doing with a good friend of mine. Destroyed. So I won't talk about the celebrity elites eating babies. I won't talk about that. There's a lot that goes into that. There's a lot of stuff that goes into that. And there's a lot of research that goes into that as well. So if you are interested in any of that, do it. Just look into stuff, right? But how many times now are we sitting there going, I'm afraid to look into stuff because I know that they're watching. I know that, I'm going to get geotagged or I'm afraid of what this stuff is, right? There's so much fear that sits inside of us with regards to how we're going to do our research, how we're going to look at what we look at, how we're going to see this stuff. And who's out there? Man, who's out there? Because there's a ton of you right now listening to this show going, I understand half of what you're saying. I understand 75% of what you're saying. The stuff I don't understand, I'll look into because you seem to be right on some stuff. Or you're just entertaining or what have you. But, I mean, the whole Tom Hanks thing, right? That was all part of it. Now, that's not even going to make it in the title, but that's such a weird narrative. Tom Hanks on SNL. Tom Hanks talking about being the canary in the coal mine, all this sort of stuff. Like, so many tie-ins that made that such a weird narrative. But now I'm basically rambling. So let's get back to the point at hand. They can censor whatever they want. So there's a narrative pusher and there's a way to play the game. So imagine I had posted that Norway thing saying, how atrocious is this? I can't believe such false news would share this. I'd still get banned. I don't know. That's what we're going to find out next, because I'm going to take the point of view on social media I'm going to take the pro-vax stance, but I'm going to destroy the pro-vax narrative from the pro-vax stance. I'm going to start having fun with it that way. I'm pretty sure. That's how my interactions are going to go on Facebook. On Instagram, all my stuff is going to stay highly motivational and very, very to the point, because at the end of the day, that's what we really need. We really need people to sit around and at least embrace or absorb the joy that can be, It's too much. So here we go. It says here, Oslo, Norway. Last week, the Norwegian government announced a return to normal everyday life. Removed all domestic COVID-19 restrictions. In short, the country has enough of a handle on COVID that the nation's health officials have put it on par with the influenza and respiratory syncytial virus, RSV, for the upcoming winter months. This news has been misinterpreted willfully or unintentionally by some as a sign that the rest of the world, the United States in particular, can get back to normal as well. It goes on and blah, blah, blah. So when it says right in the article, this news has been misinterpreted willfully or unintentionally, that's fucking slander right away. Are you implying that I can see a news article and just be like, that's it, that's the end of it? I mean, we've really, really fallen when it comes to news. Not only are they telling you a story, they're going to share some stuff, they're going to fucking show you the truth. They're going to tell you that if you believe it, you're an idiot. Right? And if you don't know exactly the details of it, you're done. I think it's hilarious. A friend of mine sent me a meme earlier today. I'm actually going to dig that up here. 1 second. Where did I put it? I'm going to keep talking because that way I don't have to worry about editing too much, and I'll keep you guys entertained as I talk and communicate. Perhaps I will, perhaps I won't. No, I got it. Here we go. So, Jareth, this one's for you, brother. You sent me this meme, and it made me laugh, and it just fit immediately after, because it was after you sent me this that I got the ban. If Facebook existed in 1776, the British are coming. False information. Fact checkers. See why? Not all the British are coming. Only the British Army, so it's partly false. We live in a world where you're no longer allowed to reference and cross-reference anything. You have to, they I could barely get these thoughts out. We need to what? We need to pay attention to every fine detail. And we're afraid that if anyone gets any information anywhere that isn't exactly what the narrative is, what free thought's going to break out and we're all just going to start understanding things, or something else is going to happen, something drastic. I don't know. But there used to be a time where you could look at stuff and go, what the fuck? Do you guys remember the Inquirer? The Inquirer used to be everywhere, right? Aliens this, aliens that, lizards this. And it was freely for sale. Yet now, I don't even know if it still exists. It must still exist. But you can't share information. You can't talk. You can't communicate. You can't open. You can't expand your mind. Social media is the devil. They want you to not. I sound like, what is it? Those rock and roll's the devil's music. Rah! That's such a funny statement. I'm so all over the place today. But that's such a funny statement because it literally is the devil's music. The devil, Lucifer, was a fallen angel who was in charge of the choirs of heaven. He was in charge of the music. It was pretty cool. So, what was I talking about again? Oh yeah, I'm all over the place. Like I said, I'm having a time. So now we don't have the ability to share information and do the research. If you see something that interests you, look it up a little bit more. Check it out. Now we're afraid to do that. And there's so many people out there. There's so many, Karens, male Karens, Stevens and Karens out there demanding that you save the world. Like, they got their information from somewhere too. So every single person that's attacking you with information got it from somewhere. And they accepted it. And they hate you for getting your information from somewhere if it doesn't line up with their information from somewhere. Reputable sources? There hasn't been a fucking reputable source since the dawn of time. But that's not what we're here for. We're not here to find reputable sources. We're here to understand that all of it's bullshit. Not just COVID. All of it's bullshit. The whole narrative is pre-constructed. It's handed to us, which is such a mind fuck. Like, this is something that we really have to get our minds around big time. To understand that it doesn't start or stop with any one thing, but that it pushes you consistently to comprehend yourself. There are people that'll never wake up, and that's cool. And then there are people who are woke, which is also weird, And there's such a huge difference between waking up and woke, but people are waking up on a massive scale right now. Massive scale. And because they're waking up, the word woke has been taken, has been hijacked, has been taken. So people think when you say waking up that you're saying woke because they're not really into their own research as well. And that's peculiar. So you're going to crossbreed woke with waking up? No, man, the woke culture is so annoying. But waking up is such a beautiful thing. There's no massive amounts of enlightenment. You don't get all the answers and figure things out. You just gradually understand and comprehend your surroundings a little bit better. And in doing so, you move a little bit differently. And you attract a little bit differently, and you see a little bit differently. Eventually, I'm very well familiar with the fact that I'm going to get kicked off social media. I'm going to get deplatformed. It already happened to one of my other podcasts, like I said earlier. It can't happen to this one. And you know what? As a matter of fact, I'm going to say this now because I keep meaning to say it. I'm going to create a email collection thing. And this is like the first time I've ever done this. None of this shit will ever be used for marketing. I'm not going to sell you guys anything. But I know, just from watching the patterns and seeing how things are going, I'm going to get deplatformed. It's more than likely going to happen. And of all you guys out there, like, I need, probably like 100 people would certainly be able to respread this word. So if you're down to get one email from me after we've deplatformed, I'm going to put up a link where you can put your email into it. Just for the sole purpose of, if this show goes missing, we will show up somewhere else and under a different name. Who knows? But you guys won't, you won't miss a beat. And there's some of you out there that are so amazing that I know you would be pissed off if all of a sudden we were gone. And I'll tell you that right now, if we ever do just disappear, that ain't our choice. We're in this for the long haul. There's so much that's going on. There's so many people that want to be part of a positive energy, and that's what I'm collecting, energy pools. So back to what I was saying. I'm going to put together a link, an email capture link to send you guys to. You just fill it out. And then when we do get displaced, if it happens, I mean, it might not happen, but it feels like it's going to. And if we, and I, you know what, I really should like knock on wood here. But if, you know, I hope I'm not, you know, self-fulfilling a prophecy by asking this, but yes. So that link will go up, and that link is not for anything other than if we go down, you guys will be the first ones to get the link to the new show, so you can just keep listening. Maybe we'll do like a WWE thing. We'll do it to MMA 2.0. We'll add a whole bunch of colors to it, make it all friendly and bubbly. To all of you that watch wrestling, because that's fun too. Now, here's another fun thing. Think about that. Do you remember when we were kids, and if you were like a wrestling fan, and people were like, wrestling's fake? Fuck so. Right? We didn't care. Like, that's where we are with the news right now. The news is fake. Everyone's like, yeah, so it's entertaining. People don't have a lot to focus on. There are so many people right now that need COVID to be real because their lives were falling apart without it, and it was their fault. But with COVID, they have a reason to be afraid. They have a reason to stay in. They have the ability to be righteous and defensive, and I have a purpose now. Like these Karens, again, you know, I don't mean to be derogatory, but maybe I do. I don't know. But these people attack you. Like the time I walked into Costco, and this chick just, who knows? She's like, sir, over your nose. I mean, do you even realize how dumb these masks are? And could you imagine having the balls to do that? Imagine you just said that to the wrong person. You got punched right in the face just for invading somebody's space with your self-righteousness. Well, what? It's going to happen, right? Especially with these vax passes. They've got these 14, 15-year-old kids at the front doors of random places being like, I need to see all of your medical information. Oh, is that so? It's going to be weird, right? And it's even going to get weirder when all the people that have vax passes, because in Ontario, I know that, you know, this podcast is broadcast everywhere, but in Ontario, it's a thing. That's official. This is why I've left the city. I just needed to get away from what it represented. And there's a ton of stuff to do up here. And there's no gym down there, so I might as well just come out here and chop wood and carry water. But it's official now. And I know Biden wanted to do it too. Biden's talking about doing the same thing. So, you know, what's going to happen? The blue and red states are going to be literally at war. Right? We're creating dissension. To me, the whole thing, I mean, it's a possibility, you know, that even the vaccine is a placebo. I don't think it is. I think the likelihood is each of them are something different, and they're trying out a bunch of different things. I don't think it's as nefarious as the world wants to make it believe. I think the majority of this is one big social experiment. How can we get the people to fight each other? Like it's it sounds weird, but I think the whole thing is designed for a massive divide and conquer, right? But there's a lot of people on this side of the fence that are like, they're super extremists, and they're like, well, wait, it's population control. They want to knock all this stuff out, like in Thanos or Marvel's Avengers, right? When Thanos snaps his fingers and takes out half the universe. It's like, if your whole existence and your whole experience is designed to go somewhere, like, what happens when you're done? What happens if they do kill off half the world, right? Is that more chaos? Has anyone really thought this through? Are they happy? Do they just go and hang up their bits afterwards? Like, okay, well, we're done here. You know, where does it go? What does it do? What's the end game? Because so many people are like, this is what's going to happen. Yeah, but what about after that? And what do you have control of? And what can you do in your life to change your outcome and your circumstance and your surroundings? So there's so much infighting everywhere that nobody's really paying attention to what it is that they can do for themselves to make the experience that much better. And that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing that we can do as you and I sit here listening to this and talking about this. Like, what are we going to do? Not, how are we going to band together and stop the damn bastards from doing this shit? Because it's irrelevant, right? You and I individually can't do a damn thing. And that's the truth. We can't go up against the government, because nobody, even the government, even knows what they're fucking doing. But what you can do is vote with your dollars, because that seems to be the slave ticket that they want to push on us. So if you're voting with your dollars, here's what's going to happen too in the future. The restaurants in Ontario that are vax passing people, not allowing others in, and it's not a law, by the way, it's a mandate. So it's not against the law to go into a restaurant. They suggest that you don't. And it's not even a medical mandate, right? It's just stupid. They're just like, do it. So they say it and people follow suit. So what happens is guys like me can't go to the gym and we can't go to restaurants. But guys like me have friends who are fully vaxxed that can go. But they want to hang out with me, for example. I don't know who they are, but I'm sure they're wonderful people. And because we can't go to the restaurants, we don't go to the restaurants. There will be one restaurant that's like, we're not, we're don't ask, don't tell. Come on in, whatever. We don't give a shit. That restaurant's going to get the business. So all the big box restaurants that are pushing the narrative are going to start losing money. To the tune of who knows how much. To the tune of them not being able to stay operational, stay functioning. So they're going to have to shut the doors. Or they're going to have to force the mandates. Because since we can't do anything to the government, we can do the things to the people who can speak to the government, or who can speak to the mandate makers. When you vote with your dollars, when you take your money away from certain places, that's it. When you support anyone that supports segregation, you're just allowing this narrative to go further. So how do you yourself, specifically individually, make a change? Sacrifice. I say sacrifice. I just mean like, don't support that. Take a hit today. Understand that, we're at war. We truly are. And it's going to get worse before it gets better. But we have the numbers and we have the power. Eventually. And that's another reason why they're probably going to deplatform me, because I do the best I can to, tie people together. To get people more interested. And maybe that's another thing that I should do as I'm saying that now. We used to have I think it was a Discord room. And maybe I'll reintroduce that where people can just come in and jam out and just have their information in there. Discord's a great place. Who knows? But there's got to be some way to unify and to work as a cohesive team in this mentality, in this atmosphere. If that's, there's some really solid Facebook groups out there that are flying under the radar currently. Somehow. I don't know how, considering how diligent Facebook is on preventing that from happening, but they seem to be there right now. But if this is an important thing, then you're going to make it happen. You, the listener, whatever's important to you is what you're going to make happen. The things that we can worry about were never really meant for us to make, quote unquote, to make happen. We don't need to worry about certain things. Certain things will suck, but we understand how we can sort of work around it. We understand what we can do to change it. If you want to get vaccinated, do it. If you don't want to get vaccinated, don't do it. I can't believe that this is even, up for debate. If you want to fight, you're in the wrong world. If you want to fight somebody else for their opinion, don't waste your energy. Let them be angry, let them fight, let them do their thing. Have your fun with it, right? But don't allow it to change the way your inner chemistry works. There's a huge difference between like being sarcastic and being a dick and sort of poking fun and trying to illuminate people through memes or through messages. But there are some people that are just hell-bent on misunderstanding you. And now is your opportunity to dismiss them and to reconvene with those who are of like mind and who are of the desire to create new information, to create a new system, a new status quo. There's so much out there that we can change and that we can do. And at the same time, we have to figure out how to make that happen properly. Because if you are unvaccinated, you're basically, I'm one of them. I'm a second-class citizen up now. And I know that people will look at me differently because of the media, because of the news. I understand that. But I also know that in a few years, there will be championing certain different things. And there's a lot of weird things that are going to be coming down the pipe. Like I said, it's going to get weirder. It's just going to get weirder. Doesn't mean it's going to get worse or better or anything like that. It's going to get weirder. Life was fucked up before when everybody was complaining about absolutely nothing. Remember plastic straws? This was the worst that we could complain about. Now we have something globally to unify us. And that isn't the vaxxers and the anti-vaxxers. It's this narrative. Once enough people understand the jar is being shaken by somebody else, then we stop fighting each other. And there will still be a bunch of people that want to fight, and that's cool, but they'll be fighting nobody because nobody gives a shit. What's going to happen is enough people are going to understand that the jar is being shaken and that we're all being tossed around. And that we don't need to fight them because they're not doing it to us. But there is an exterior force doing it to us. And the narrative is designed to expose itself in time. Much more so for people, if you were aware of this early on, it's getting repetitive, redundant, and annoying. But the further it's going down this path, recognize and realize that newer people are waking up to it. So it needs to get weirder and weirder and weirder for more and more people to understand it and see what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, I was all over the place today. Absolutely all over the place. But I wanted to get this one out. It's the end of September. It's a beautiful day. I wanted to speak. I wanted to try out the new setup, the mobile setup. I'm getting comfortable with this microphone. There'll probably be a few more episodes coming out quickly. But yeah, I'm going to get that email drop set up and built so that you guys don't miss a beat if we do get pulled. And maybe we'll get that Discord room back up and running. But here we are today at the end of September. Really, really weird times. And getting weirder. So what are we going to do? Band together, work together, be happy, right? Figure out a way to be happy about where it is and look for the silver lining and everything, because, man, there's no point in being angry. There's a point in being prepared and protected, but there's no point in being angry because it is what it is. And when you're not angry, when you're calm, cool, and collective, you make much better decisions and you execute better on the decisions that you do make. The angry people are going to sink us. But the angry people are all vaccinated. It's very rare that you see an angry, unvaxxed person. But at the same time, they do exist. Just like there's extreme left, there's also extreme right and all that sort of stuff. And I don't care much for either of them. If like an extreme right anti-vaxxer is weird. An extreme right pro-vaxxer is weird. Extreme left, right, whatever. I'm losing my sides over here. Anybody working in the extremes is peculiar. The middle ground is where a ton of work gets done. And I understand the extremes have reasons and value because you go out there, you're like, yeah. You're like, whoa, maybe not that, but yeah, everything else. You find your limits in the extremes and you come back to your comfort. You come back to what makes sense. You push your limits in the extremes and you push yourself and you grow. Ladies and gentlemen, in the infamous words of Red Green, keep your stick on the ice.
Thank you for listening to today's Mental Mastery Alliance podcast. Let the team know you're listening by using the hashtag MMA and Mental Mastery Alliance. Want more motivation? Be sure to follow online on Instagram at Mental Mastery Alliance and on Facebook at Mental Mastery Alliance. And remember, your perception creates your reality. Make it a great day.
You got it, Pontiac.